This week on the Hopecast, we're going to take a little more serious tone on some of the things we're going to be talking about because we're going to be talking about finding hope in a toxic workplace situation.
Yeah, maybe it's dealing with a difficult boss or some cliquey coworkers or anything in between. We'll be talking about when is it okay or is it even okay to walk away from that toxic situation. It's all coming up next on the Hopecast.
Hey, we're Steve and Bethany, a former radio team turned podcasters.
We're passionate about learning and sharing ways of putting the words of Jesus into practice in real life.
Here we go.
Welcome back, Hope Dealers. We are glad that you have joined us here again this week. And today we're going to be talking about something that is a very difficult situation in a lot of times. That is a toxic workplace and what the difference between just a difficult workplace is versus something that truly is something you probably need to get out of.
Yeah, and that's not something that every single person deals with. I mean, we all have moments of frustration no matter what our job is. You're most likely going to interact with somebody that can be a little difficult or frustrating, but when do those kind of everyday irritations cross over into something that's truly not healthy for you to be in? We'll be talking about that. And I think this will be a good, healthy discussion. I hope so. And I hope it'll bring encouragement for people that might be walking through something like this.
But before we get to that, you continue the worldwide Bethany tour.
I've literally been out of town so much this year.
You really have.
Not
and
even funny.
You're continuing it now with the moms.
Yes.
Mama Fowler.
Mama Fowler, my mom, and my sister-in-law. We are making the, I've joked that it's like the pilgrimage of the white girls is what I've called it. That's the term that I've coined it for me and my family to go on. We're going to Magnolia in Waco, the Chip and Joanna Gaines. Obviously, it's the best place in the world if you're in your mid-20s and you want to just kind of get your home decor on. We're excited about it. So yeah, my mom gifted a trip to Waco to us for Christmas this last year and said, I'm going to get an Airbnb down there. We're going to take the weekend and we're going to go and just spend some time away and just hang out, just us girls. So that's what we're doing this weekend. I'm super excited about it.
Can I give you some tips? I've been there.
You've been there?
I have.
How did you beat me there?
Because my wife wanted to go. We had to go pay homage
when did you
to
go?
the silos.
When did you go?
I'm
going to make that a T-shirt. Paying homage to the silos.
On a family vacation to San Antonio. So
okay.
We had to go.
Did I know you?
Yeah, well, of course you did.
Wait,
this
no,
was
I didn't know you.
This was like a couple of years ago.
I guess that's true. I forgot that you went there.
Yeah, we did. And so let me give you a little lay of the land here.
Yeah,
for
do
you,
it.
Okay. You got to get there early.
Right.
Because I forget the name of the little restaurant that's there.
Magnolia Table.
Okay.
My mom has tried to make reservations.
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You have to get there early and be prepared to stand in line.
Okay.
It's like Disney.
Okay.
There's just going to be a lot.
And there's no fast passes.
No fast passes.
Okay.
Then there's also the big swing. There's this oversized, ginormous porch swing.
Okay.
You got to sit in the porch swing and you got to swing. It's just part of the deal. It's
part
of
the. All right.
And then they also have some AstroTurf grass that's there, and they have the cornhole, the bago.
Oh,
you can play that.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun.
Okay.
And then of course all the shopping inside and everything. And you could eat if you're lucky enough to be able to get the scone and the coffee and everything.
My sister-in-law has a strategy of how we're going to handle the long lines. She was joking about this because, if you're at all on Instagram and you see people that go to Magnolia, they always wear those really wide-brimmed hats.
Yeah.
Like everybody has them on.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? Like everybody has those wide-brimmed like cowboy hats. And Heidi, my sister-in-law, was saying, she was like, I'm going to wear a hat that's so big that I can just knock people out of my way. Like, that's how I'll kind of move my way through the crowd is I'll just wiggle around and knock people away. But I will say, as excited as I am about going to Magnolia, and I am very excited about it, there's one thing that I'm even more excited about.
What's that?
We're going to go to Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you've never been to a Buc-ee's?
No, I've been to a Buc-ee's.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I'm so excited about it.
Caleb just
you know
woke
what I'm
up.
talking about it. You know what I'm talking about, okay? No one in my family believes
I've never
me.
seen Caleb as excited in my life.
Buc-ee's is a big deal. I'm
is.
the only person that's ever been to a Buc-ee's. No one else has been. And no one understands what I'm talking about when I say this is so exciting.
Yes.
For those listening that don't know, Buc-ee's is a gas station, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more. They have like 120 pumps. It's like a Hobby Lobby, a gas station, a barbecue restaurant, a Target. Like it's everything.
It's a mall with gas
everything
pumps.
you need. They have homemade fudge that they make every day.
Oh, yeah.
They got pulled pork sandwiches and brisket just there. I mean, it's clean. It's like the Chick-fil-A of gas stations almost. It's just next level. They're so efficient. They're so like service driven. It's incredible. The exact words that my husband said when we walked into Buc-ee's for the first time was, "I think we've reached the promised land."
Yeah.
That's what he said.
It's pretty close.
So I'm excited about it, and we're gonna hit a Buc-ee's on the way down to Texas. And my sister-in-law and my mom are not like, they don't think it's a big deal.
Oh, well.
And I'm trying to convince them otherwise.
They're going to be saucer-eyed.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just going to be overwhelming.
It's amazing.
It's sensory overload.
It's incredible. You don't know where to start.
Caleb has been to a Buc-ee's. We've got Harrison back, who
have you
loved
been
the
to a
show
Buc-ee's?
last week. He said the show was efficient last week.
I would go to a Buc-ee's just for like the burritos and the fudge. I would make a drive.
You've never been to a Buc-ee's. Okay, well, you don't know what you're missing. But I'm just telling you,
amazing.
it's sensory overload.
It's so good.
Because I kind of thought the same thing, too. I thought, it's a gas station. Come on,
Right.
settle down.
How great can it be?
But it kind of can be. Now, here's something else.
Okay.
Waco-wise, if you want to jump into it. Across the street from Magnolia Markets is the Dr. Pepper Museum. It's where
Ooh.
Dr. Pepper was founded. You can get taste tests. You can get the whole experience of Dr.
Fun.
Pepper. Lots of fun there. We did that as well. And then if you want to go on the serious side,
Yeah.
there is the David Koresh memorial stuff
Oh,
for the
right.
Branch Davidians that's there just outside the city limits. It's worth doing. It's
Really?
pretty cool. Yeah, I mean it's a memorial.
Yeah,
and
it's
again, it's not
serious.
it's the serious end
Right.
of it, obviously. But there is it's a piece of history and it's really neat. So I mean, there's so much more to do than Chip and Joe.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I love Chip and Joe. I don't care
They're the
for
best.
I don't care for a lot of the home improvement because I think they're all Chip and Joe wannabes.
Right.
Chip and Joe are like the originals.
Right.
And so I have a soft spot in my heart, especially, for Chip. I think
I feel
Chip's
like
a cool
you and
dude.
Chip are cut out of the same cloth.
I do too.
You
I
really
do
are.
too.
If you had a TV show, you would be like Chip Jr.
I think so. I would.
kind of
we
would.
would be buds. I
think
we
you
really
would.
We would really be buds.
I'm excited about it, though. I think it'll be fun.
You should have a excellent time doing that, and we're going to expect a full report.
We'll do.
On the next Stephen Bethany's Hopecast about your trip to Waco as the worldwide Bethany tour continues. So before we get into our main topic today, you need to tell the peeps about Tees for Bibles.
Yeah, Tees for Bibles is the ministry aspect of the Hopecast. And so if you want to not only get an awesome t-shirt, but also impact someone's life with the Word of God, we would really encourage you to go to stephenbethany.com. Scroll down a little bit. There's a link for you to click Tees for Bibles. You can look at our t-shirts. We've got a bunch of different colors and designs. Pick out one that you like. And when you get a t-shirt, you are automatically taking that t-shirt and then turning it into a Bible that will go into someone's native language, somebody that doesn't have a Bible, and really impact their life. And so that's what we're all about. Tees for Bibles is the way to do that. Go to stephenbethany.com, stephenbethany.com.
All right, we'll stop down here and insert something.
But no, I said we need to go to Buc-ee's on yesterday. I said that. And my mom was like, what's the big deal about it? I said, Mom,
have you?
Listen.
They have the concrete Buc-ee outside. You have to take a picture with a concrete Buc-ee.
Yeah. We drove the first time, or the only time I've gone to a Buc-ee's.
You need to tape. You need to video the reaction.
The reaction to Buc-ee's, that'd be fun.
Yes, that would be fun.
No, we were in Destin and drove past a Buc-ee's in Mobile going to Destin. And I was like, we need to go to a Buc-ee's on the way back. We left Destin with less than a quarter of a tank because Jerry was like, I'm going to fill up at Buc-ee's. I'm not filling up ahead of time. And I'm like, it's Destin to Mobile. That's like a little bit of a drive. And we made it on a quarter of a tank. We like barely rolled into the gas station, but he was determined to fill up at Buc-ee's.
Busties.
Oh, Buc-ee's.
Attaboy, Jerry.
Steve, cut that out.
All right.
I was thinking Destin, and then I said Buc-ee's.
All right, so
You're sick.
I'm not the one that said it.
I didn't mean to say it. I was going to roll past it, but you had to circle back around.
Well, what's that press secretary's lady's name?
Who?
That always says circle back. I don't know.
Circle back?
Yeah, she's Biden's press secretary.
Oh, I don't
She
know.
always says circle back.
I stopped watching the news. I don't know.
I have to really.
I can't.
Okay, so
All right.
here we go.
We got to focus, Stevie.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. I'll bring it back.
Okay.
All right, as we continue on here on this week's edition of Steve and Bethany's Hopecast, we're going to try to provide you with a little hope for a toxic work situation. And I think probably the best place we need to start is defining what a toxic work situation is versus what it is not. Because I think there's a lot of tendency for us as Christians especially because I see memes all the time about, avoid certain types of people. Negative people in your life, you just got to get rid of them, and you just got to focus on, because life is too hard. You got to focus on yourself and the positivity and the good vibes and everything. That's a wonderful sentiment, but it's not truth.
Yeah.
It's just not real world, because there's always going to be someone, or maybe more than someone that is going to be that little kind of rock in your shoe. You know what I mean? That little irritant that's going to be a little difficult at work. There's always that one or two people that you have to deal with. But that's not really what we're talking about in this episode.
Right. Because, we're always going to have negative people to some extent in our life. I mean, that's just the reality of living in a world with people. Yeah, exactly. And so you're always going to have somebody that's maybe a little difficult, or even just difference in personality that you just don't really mesh, and you have to work with them anyways. That's a part of life, and that's just a reality that we all have to deal with and work through. But we are talking about truly a toxic environment, not just, oh, my coworker never, makes a fresh pot of coffee when she takes the last cup. That's not what we're talking about here. We really are focusing in on an environment that is not allowing you to grow at all as a person. It's the kind of thing that's affecting you even when you're not at work. I think that's the difference there, is if you're able to get through the day and then you just kind of leave those issues at work and you just move past it, or is it truly something that's affecting you all the time, not just when, you're there from 9 to 5.
I'll give you an example of something for me that I still consider was a toxic work environment for me. I was 19 years old. I was just getting into radio, and it was a very small little town, small little station. I was in college, and we had a special election come around, and I'm not even sure. I think it was just a local election. I don't even think it was anything real national. And anyway, being an employee of the station, being a part-timer, there was 2 full-time employees and the owner, and then I was a part-timer, and they had another part-timer or 2 that worked in the office. I was the only part-timer that worked on the air. And for whatever reason, the owner said, "You're going to anchor the election coverage."
What?
And that intimidated me like crazy, because I thought, why would I do? I mean, I've been in the business, 6-8 months. I don't know what I'm doing, and if you don't know what an anchor, that terminology, what that means is you have somebody kind of as the center of the hub, you that would throw it from one, in this case, political campaign to another. We'd have the 2 full-time guys out. We'd have even some of the office staff reporting from different campaigns and different stuff like that. But they all would be reporting to me, and I would be kind of the traffic cop saying, okay, let's go to this place, the next one, and on, right? I didn't think I was ready for that job.
Yeah.
And the owner was a very powerful guy, very kind of big in the community. He was I'll even say it, he was a deacon in his church, and very well thought of in the community and everything. And I remember being on the air and just being as nervous as I could be, wanting to do a good job, because this is something I did think that I wanted to do with the rest of my life, you know, and this was an opportunity for me, even though I felt like maybe I'm not the best person for it. I'm going to do my best. Well, there came up a name in the primary or whatever election we were doing, and for whatever reason, I could not say it. I just could not pronounce it correctly. I was in my head. I was frustrated, and I was trying to, do all this job that I didn't feel like I knew how to do.
Right.
And I kept mispronouncing this lady's name. And the owner came in and just threw open the door during a break and yelled at me.
During a break on the air?
No, I don't know. In a commercial break. Yelled at me that I better not screw that name up anymore because he's getting calls about it.
Right.
And of course, now I'm panicking. Now I'm back in my head. I'm trying to. Now, with experience, I would have known then to take write outs phonetically.
Right.
Here's how it's, even though it may
did you not do that?
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking. And again, I was so flustered.
Right.
Anyway,
that doesn't help you.
It didn't. So I mispronounced it again the next time it came up.
Mm.
And again, he throws open the door and he starts cussing me and saying, if you don't say that blankety blank name correctly, I'm going to punch you in the blankety blank.
Oh my goodness.
And just red faced. And again, this is a pillar of the little community there.
Right, yeah.
This is a guy who everyone knows, who everyone has a great opinion of, and yet he blew up on me. And again, I felt like as a 19-year-old kid, I wasn't ready for this spot anyway.
Yeah.
But secondarily, that's not how you handle it.
Yeah.
Even I knew it then. I don't perform well when people are yelling at me.
I'm
one of these guys. I don't know. Maybe different personalities.
Yeah.
Some people need kick in the pants.
That's true. That's
okay.
True.
But me, I need somebody to put your arm around me and say, okay, look, here's what you got to work on.
Yeah.
Here's how to handle this. Let's get this better. Let's make this work.
Right.
That's my type of coaching. That's my type of personality. And so when he did that, I mean, I almost just shut down. I mean, I just could not handle it. And then for that rest of that time that I was there at that radio station, I just felt uncomfortable. I always thought about it. And I didn't have too many more disagreements or interactions with him as much.
Yeah.
But I just knew that he remembered it and that he didn't like me and that, I was just waiting kind of on eggshells. Is he going to just let me go?
Yeah.
At some point, which again, I'm a college kid. I'm a part-timer. I'm easily replaced.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it for me as well. But to me, it really to this day still kind of sticks with me.
I've never heard that story. You've never told me that.
Well, I mean, it really has stuck with me as to something that just made me feel so small and so and again, it got in my head so much that I thought about it and could not let it go for the longest time.
Well, that makes sense because I think, and I'm sure, people watching and listening now can think of a moment where they've had that. I think, there was a time for me where I was about 19 and almost not quite the same thing happened, but I got yelled at, not by anybody that I worked with, but by a listener. A listener called in and chewed me out for probably like 5 minutes on the phone. And I mean, it was the weirdest thing because I'd never been yelled at like that ever. I mean, I'd have people be frustrated with me or have people be like, oh, come on, you need to do this.
Well, that was kind of me too.
But never like that. Like I was not used to that level of aggression. And so to have it directed at me, I completely shut down. I was just didn't even know what to say. And, I think looking back now, obviously years later, you're able to go, okay, how would I handle that differently? What would I do differently? But in that moment, you feel small, you feel dumb, you feel like completely kind of helpless. And of course that's a little different because it wasn't somebody that I worked with. And so I was able to hang the phone up and be like, man, I hope she doesn't call back. Okay.
Right.
And kind of move past it. But that feeling, I can still remember how that moment made me feel and how I just didn't know what to do. It was just kind of this moment of like, man, I still got like 3 more hours on the air.
Right.
How am I supposed to go back to normal and act like I didn't just get yelled at? Like, that's insane. And so I think that is something that I'm sure a lot of people have gone through, of moments of feeling like, why am I even here? What am I even doing? And then how do I go about my day and act like I'm fine?
Right.
Because there's probably people I can't be transparent with. And I mean, this is a job. I have to be professional to a certain extent. So I have to go about my day and act like I'm fine.
And if these are just momentary, isolated incidents, maybe somebody's having a bad day and taking it out on you.
Right.
But if these continue on to where it really is affecting you emotionally and you're bringing it home from work and you're just continually thinking about it, that's something that you really got to pursue somehow. I don't know whether exit strategy or at least going and having a conversation with someone.
I think that's what separates it too. Is like, is this person even remotely apologetic?
Yeah.
Are that, because obviously you can't excuse all behavior. Everybody has bad days. Everybody has moments where they lose their cool. That's true. But is this person even a little remorseful? Do they take accountability and responsibility and say like, hey, that was on me. That was not at all appropriate or right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have acted that way towards you. And do they improve? Does their behavior change? Or is it a pattern of, hey, sorry, I did that, and then they do it the next day, and there's no shift in how they act or change?
And sometimes it even goes further because the person that could be the problem for you is in a supervisory capacity. They don't have to apologize.
Right.
They're just the way it is. And you're working for me, and this is the way it is. And if that's the situation, I think what you have to do is at some point go and have a conversation with them, lay it out to them and say, here's what I'm feeling. I don't appreciate it when this happens. Now, look, here's what you have to be mindful of. You have to be mindful of this could be your last day.
Yeah.
Because if that person is truly unrepentant, unapologetic, the whole thing, they could just say, okay, you know what? It's better for us to part ways.
Especially if, they're a boss, not just a coworker. Yeah.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Your mental health and your happiness is worth so much more than a paycheck.
Yeah.
Because, and I know sometimes that's difficult to hear. You say, well, you just don't know my financial situation. You don't know everything about, I understand that. I get it. But there comes a point where I don't care how much money you're making, the stress and the toll that it takes on you, and then in turn will take on your family because you're under such duress and such pressure all the time, it's going to affect them as well. And at some point, you've got to be willing to walk away.
Well, that's the thing, too, is I think that if you're finding your identity in your job, you can almost become dependent on that situation, even if it is really unhealthy and really bad for you to be in it. It's kind of like your whole world is wrapped up in this job because it's so toxic, and so you don't even know how to get out of it. And you think, well, if I leave, like, what am I going to do? But that's the kind of thing where I think you have to remember that's not where your identity is found, especially as a believer. And then at the end of the day, a job's a job.
Yeah.
Like, you can get another one. I know that of course the pay might be different, or the position might be different, or it might not be an ideal situation, but a job is still just a job. And so you can't take too much stock in something that is very flexible. You can be replaced. The job can be replaced. It's something that's kind of a loose situation. And so you can't put all of your eggs in that one basket.
I would say to you, if you're in that situation, to pray about it and to realize, okay, weigh heavily, the financial and whatever other responsibilities or things that the job provides for you, the provisions that it makes versus, your mental health and your just ability just to enjoy life.
Yeah, well-being.
And if you're waking up every morning dreading going to work and you're looking at the watch when you first get there, well, I've got 4 hours before I can go to lunch. That's not good.
Yeah.
And so think about it, pray about it. And then, sometimes you are going to have to leave. And sometimes you may not find a job that will pay as much money or will have as many benefits or have the same promotion level that you're already at. But you know what? God knows that.
Yeah.
And God can provide. And sometimes the scariest times is to let go of the comfort stuff that we have. And sometimes God's calling us to do that, and maybe in this terrible situation that you might find yourself in, it's God saying, hey, let's let go of this. Let's go over here and do something else. And God can provide it for you where it might be something totally revolutionary for you, something you never had on your radar that could become the most joyful thing you've ever done. Again, it may not be the same amount of money, probably won't be the same maybe level of responsibility maybe, but it will be so much more happiness and so much more peace and joy in your life. And at the bottom line is that's really what everything's about in life, is being able to get through this life and being able to be happy and being able to be obedient to God. All right, I thought that was good. Okay, so
you want to bring it back, or you want me to?
I'll bring it back with Patreon, and then we'll do.
Okay, I'll bring up Gary Thomas too.
There, yeah. Let's close it out with that.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, before we close down things here this afternoon on the Hopecast, I guess it's the afternoon. It could be the night. It could be,
whenever
morning.
you're listening.
Whenever you're listening, we want to let you know about our Patreon. Now, Patreon are the people that come alongside of us and help support this Hopecast. We call them family members. We call them Hope Dealers because we want them to help not only offset the production costs, but also to get some kind of cool benefits and insider stuff. We really have become a family. We pray for each other. We share each other's needs and stuff. It really has become a neat little community, and we'd love for you to join. You get the video version of Steve and Bethany's Hopecast every single week for just $5 a month.
Right.
That's pretty good. And then we've got another tier that's $15 a month to get you some more bonuses, but you get it early, you get it ad-free. We'd love for you to at least check it out. And if you like the show, if you feel like you want to do something to help, this is a great way to do it. It's patreon.com/Steve and Bethany's Hopecast, or just look for the link in the show notes of this episode.
We are kind of wrapping things up with something that I learned from an expert, which is my mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mentioned that we were going to be talking about toxic environments and when to walk away and all of that stuff. And my mom brought up a book that she has read called When to Walk Away, Finding Freedom from Toxic People. It's by Gary Thomas. And we'll put a link to it in the show notes. She went through it last year. My mom is great about always wanting to read books that will just kind of expand her knowledge. So she's always wanting to learn and grow. And so she went through this book last year and found a lot of encouragement in it. And she was telling me about it after I told her about our podcast subject this week. And she said that this book kind of opened her eyes to moments even in the Bible where you see Jesus walk away. And she said there's examples, I forget how many there are, but there's many examples in the Bible where you see Jesus talking and sharing the truth with someone, and he, of course, knows their heart and knows that they're going to be stubborn and that they're not going to hear it. And so a lot of those moments are, with the Pharisees and all of that. And Jesus walked away and kind of removed himself from that situation. Or there was just kind of this moment of, yeah, you're not getting it. And Jesus kind of let go. And so she said in this book, Gary Thomas draws the parallels between what we can learn from that of, when are the moments where we need to lean into hard situations and really, choose to maybe not do the easiest thing, but put in the work into a relationship and really put in effort. And then when are those moments where you need to say, you know what, this isn't working. Like nothing's going to change here. And you have kind of peace in that moment to walk away and leave that situation. She found a lot of encouragement in it and just it really opened her eyes to kind of situations I think that she's walked through in the past. And so she found a lot of encouragement in it. And I think it would be a benefit for our listeners for sure. So we'll put a link to it down in the show notes.
Yeah. And not just for like Amazon, but we'll also do like the audiobook because I'm a big time, I have become an audiobook fan.
Also, too, you're like the biggest multitasker.
Well,
Steve can't sit still. You need to be doing a million things.
Well,
so you like to drive, listen to the audiobook, all that stuff.
I wish I could. I wish I didn't have everything going on at once. I really wish I
Okay.
did.
Can I pick on you a little bit? Just a little bit.
Yes.
Steve makes me laugh because there's been many times where we'll sit down and we'll be working on a project and brainstorm about something. And then he'll start emailing. He'll go, hold on, I got 10 emails I got to respond to real quick. And then you respond and then you go, who's calling me? And your phone starts ringing. And I just say, you're way more popular than me.
Okay.
I wish my phone rang like yours does.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Here's the thing. That so much is kind of not happening as much anymore because I don't have the same level of responsibility at my job, my real job. But what now is happening is now I'm to the point, and it may just be because I'm getting older. I don't know. But it may be because...
You just don't care as much.
No, it's not that I don't care as much. It's that, okay, I'm just driving down the road, minding my own business, and all of a sudden something pops in my head. I need to tell Bethany X.
Yeah.
I've got to tell her now or else I'll forget about it.
That's right.
And 3 days will go by.
I know.
So I'm either taking the phone and voice texting or I'm telling Jana, text Bethany.
Here, text her real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's my life all the time.
See, I'm not quite there yet because I'm in my mind going like, oh, I'll remember to do that. So I'll just wait. And then this happened last week. Steve sent me a big long text and had a bunch of questions in it. And I read it and I was in the middle of doing something. When I read it, I didn't respond to you until 3 days later.
You see? I know.
And then it was only because you texted me and said, hey, are you still alive? Did you get my text? You good?
I'm taking your silence as meaning that you're upset.
Yeah. Oh, I was. No, I was.
No, I'm teasing.
All that to say, we'll be linking that book down in the show notes, and we really do hope that this episode was encouraging to your heart and brought you some hope if you are in the middle of that situation where you're trying to figure out, okay, do I leave this toxic environment? Do I stay? How much longer do I stay? What do I need to do to resolve things? We really do hope that it brought some encouragement.
And we're going to wrap things up like we do every week with what we learned this week. So what I learned this week is that everybody needs to experience a Buc-ee's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's probably first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And if you don't live near a Buc-ee's, you should consider moving. I mean, I just think it's that important just to, because it's like going to Disney World.
It has everything.
Something for it has you're right. It has everything.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it'll blow your hair back. Your eyes will be saucers. That first experience of, oh my goodness.
It's so much more than a gas station.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I really will try to film my mom and my sister-in-law's reactions to Buc-ee's because it's so much more than a gas station and they don't get it right now. But hopefully their eyes will be open and they'll see it. They will be. All
right. As we wrap up, Caleb, he's up from his nap. Caleb, everything go well this afternoon on the podcast. Everything go well. How did you think the episode went? Scale of 1 to 10. 9.5.
What do we need to work on?
I think he's just patronizing.
He's just being a little fussy.
I think he is.
Are you a little fussy? You okay?
For the second week in a row, which is this is pretty good. We had our first ever studio guest last week, Harrison.
Harrison.
And he's back this week.
We didn't scare him off too bad. What would you rank us from 1 to 10? Bullied you? When?
Bullied you?
When?
Because I didn't go to a Buc-ee's before.
I don't.
But that's not even
like
bullying. That's just correcting.
That's
just saying
exactly right.
reevaluate your life choices, make different ones.
Yeah.
Go to a Buc-ee's.
There you go.
Man, if Buc-ee's doesn't sponsor us after
for
this episode,
for real,
this is a waste of time.
For real,
a waste of time.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week. You guys have a wonderful day. Oh, we need to close up with the credits. Everybody at Blue Stream Media.
Yeah, we're thankful for them. TJ Nichols and Caleb Reese, of course, for Blue Stream Media. They are the reason that the mics are on and the lights are on and the board is live and all of that good stuff. We're thankful for them. But, of course, they can be a help for you as well. If you have any audio needs, visual needs, any kind of event that you need that for, be sure to use them. BlueStreamMedia.com. It's BLUStreamMedia.com.
And everything about Stephen Bethany can be found at our website, StephenBethany.com, from audio archives to all of our social media links to ways to support us on Patreon to Tees for Bibles, everything that we do with this little industry that we have cultivated here, you can find at StephenBethany.com. All the links are for everything we've talked about today will be in the show notes, and that just about does it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We appreciate y'all.
We do appreciate you. We love you guys for listening so much. We can't do this without you. We're so thankful for you. And good night, Olive Branch.